I just had a bizarre dream. I guess I'll start from where I remember. I was walking. It was kind of like downtown area. Well, you know how it's like one of those dreams where it was definitely a certain area, but it's not like how it is at all. So I was walking. I would say spatially it was right by. I was walking north, kind of from where the more college is, and in the Parkway area there was like this big. It's like Rittenhouse, only a lot bigger. And in front of where more college was, it was clearly like this whole area was something there was being prepared for, like some festivities. In front of the more college area was this. It looked like a really big pop-up kind of production. They were serving food. It was going to be really fancy Chinese food. Looked like they were making something in these, like, looked like they had cut big pumpkins in half and like deep fried them, like almost like a pork rind. That's what the pumpkin looked like. And you think there was like meat. It was wrapped around meat or something. Anyway. And then walking forward, imagine it looking like Rittenhouse, only bigger and a lot fancier. There were on each corner of the park there were different food establishments, and in all four of them I eventually realized they were preparing like really big cakes and like stuff like that. And like everyone was rushing to prepare for some event, and on one flat side of the park there was a really big, there's a cake there too, a big white cake, and also it said Mr. T, or it said T or something. Yeah, and I was walking with somebody, I forget who it was, and I was like, is this for Trump? Is Trump coming to Philly? Like, why are they celebrating? I don't understand. And then we kept walking past that, and I don't know how this happened. I just ended up in this building, and I was walking with Trump, holding his hand. We were like walking together in this building. Kind of walking down the hallways and stuff. I was talking to him about basically he was stressed out, and I could tell, and I was being calm, and he said something about me coming up to his level, like in terms of stress, and I said, well, I'm calm, I want you to come down to this level and whatever. And he's like, oh, grateful. So bizarre. I don't know where this came from. And I was thinking too, like, there was a thought, like, is this what it was like loving Jesus? Like, a lot of people hated him and no one loved him, but like just really caring for him and how he is. Maybe that's like that quote I heard recently about you only love Jesus as much as you love the least of people. So I've been thinking about that. So I was walking with Trump in these hallways. They're kind of small hallways, and we were going down this staircase. It was a winding staircase, and it got like older looking and less stable, I'll say. I mean, it was all brick. It was all like this big gray, not slate, but big blocks like that, dark gray. In this building, you know what? I think maybe it reminded me of the municipal building. Now that I'm thinking, like at least the top area, not going down the stairs, because that definitely looked more like I would think like early Philadelphia type building stuff. Not that I've ever seen like a dungeon type. Anyway, we went down these winding stairs and we're walking. And eventually we get to this area. There's like this main room, and then we get into this little offshoot area, and there are people there, like security, whatever. And then you go down more, you see in this in this cell, it's like a big cell, but still a dirty cell. Just Mr. T. And Mr. T's in there kind of like working out, and then Trump goes in there for some reason. So but then he goes in there, and I look back in, and both Mr. T and Trump had taken off his pants, and they start to rumble. It was like, I don't know, by the time I had gotten that, like, Mr. T was about to be released that day, and the celebration was for Mr. T, and and Trump and him were just, I don't know, rumbling like, you know, guys do for fun sometimes. It's like, I don't know why, it was for fun. Oh my gosh. And then I asked the security guard if I could take a picture, and she was like, yeah, sure. And it basically their little fight, rumble, whatever, ended with they had to pause, and then Mr. T said something and cut Trump off guard, and then he punched him and he knocked him out, and Trump was on the ground, and for, like, you know, he was passed out for a little bit, and then at this point I was hovering, like my point of view was hovering in the room of this cell dungeon. It was like the lowest floor. I guess that's why I went down so many stairs. And there's a pool, like a little wading pool in Mr. T's cell, and in the wading pool there's like a little island thing, and Mr. T had picked up this thing in there. It kind of looks like a bow, like from a bow and arrow. So there's like the wood part and then the string, and on the string part, and it wasn't as big as a bow, but and it was more like a semicircle. On the string part, it was like an abacus, in that there are these I don't know, like 10 or something brown wooden like discs, things like that you just push back and forth on the string. And it's funny, like, I don't know how to explain this. It's a dream, but a voice or a knowing, whatever, told me that, oh, that's a voodoo contraption, a voodoo tool. And he pushed, it had been on one side, and then he pushed it so it was like on all the discs were on one side, and he pushed it so that they were spread out, because it looked like he was resetting it, I think. Anyway, I think Trump, oh, okay, I don't remember how that whole situation resolved, because I ended up walking with some other people. We were back out, and like we were still in the basement area, that same basement floor, going back to that little lobby kind of room. We went into another hallway, and we were walking. We passed someone working at, as if like they were taking tickets to go into like they were behind a window, and like there was a little information thing in front of that window in this hallways, like but we didn't have to pay for any ticket. I think maybe you had to, but okay, so when you go past the window on the right, going towards the right, was, they said it was like to the Chinese beach. It was like south, or yeah, going south. When you go that way, it's the ocean. That's like, it was a Chinese ocean. I don't know if it was the theme or what, but everything was Chinese always. I don't know. Went to the left. There's like a little hallway. I mean, it stopped there. But there's like a indent there, and a basket full of really big bananas, like as long as your forearm to your hand. And I pulled one out, and and I opened it and I was like, oh, this is a banana or a plantain? And I offered the first part to the girl. I was with a girl and a guy. They're both Asian. I guess they're Chinese. I don't know. And so she took it. She took a piece. I bit, what was left, and I was like, it's not right. Maybe it's a plantain. I don't know. And then the guy had a bite. I didn't like it. So I think early in the dream, before even like the Moore College, like that whole festivities area, I was also in these tunnels walking around, and it was kind of like opening out to the small streets in Philly. I kind of imagine around when I lived on Cherry Street, those little streets around there, like around the little playground and going right north of Cherry, that street. I've had dreams before that kind of made a new place around there, but using the small streets. But yeah, so these tunnels, I feel like walking down them also opened up to the small streets, like small colonial type streets. That was kind of a theme in this. But yeah, so Mr. T was getting out of prison. He'd been in there for like 15 years or something. I don't know how long. A while. And everyone was gonna celebrate. And there were big cakes with the 4 different corners and like one on the one side to celebrate him. And there was like this gate archway thing that was made that had like a T and something else. To celebrate, everyone was excited to celebrate him getting out of prison. And then I woke up to these people screaming at each other on the street. And then I remembered my dream, and I was like, what? This is weird. What? What's all these? I don't dream about anything like this. And then all I could think was like Antichrist. Mr. T getting out, I don't know, knocking out Trump. All this stuff just sounds like those type of things with China. And yeah, people celebrating because they think he's good, but then he's doing voodoo. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I haven't thought about it more past that. Okay, I need to get ready for work. I'm just gonna add this since I remembered it. I think this was before the part that I mentioned where I started in this dream. I was at some kind of dog park, public playground, public park area, but it was like a really big room, and there were people all around it, sitting all around it. And my feeling of this room was kind of like it was an indoor beach kind of thing, like tall. And maybe it's kind of like the walls were like that municipal building part of the dream, and like really big. How do you say it? Like light gray, light blue cement block. Was there sand on the ground? And now I don't know if I remember this in the dream or if there, but I feel like there was a window up on the one wall, like a kind of looking, so that a window to a room where like people could watch in. And now it just feels like a holding facility, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know if I'm remembering also part of the dream where there was like a teacher wanting people to learn science, wanting them to be excited or wanting to learn about science, in a different part of the dream. Not sure. Okay, bye.